Gary, we
Sir?
are back.
Nice to see you, Dimitri.
Yes, I think this is our third video, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it is our third. I think it's our third.
We did one on around Christmas time 2 years ago.
I believe, yes.
And then about 6 months later, if I recall correctly, you completely rescaped this tank and you floated everything up, and we geeked out on your whole new structure over here. And
That's
back
right.
then, it was all like little frags.
Exactly.
So what changed since then?
Well, lots of growth. We've been quite successful. We have a lot of colonies now.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few frags that are still developing, but at the end of the day, it's way more mature than originally set up. We did a few upgrades since you've been here. We put a new set of lights.
Mm-hmm.
So we're now using the Ecotech G6 Pro 30s.
Oh, nice. And this is blues, right? Or pros?
These are the pros.
Oh,
These
this
are the
is the pros.
Yeah. So we actually kind of like the color. It's still deep blue the way we like it for our color phase. And we can still apply our AB Plus for our growth phase. You know, we're not a big cyno color. So we eliminate that by using these new G6 Pros, which they no longer have that color spectrum in them.
Right. It had the cyan and like a teal color.
That's
almost,
right. That's
in
right.
there.
And I'm pretty sure they've taken the greens out from the G6s as well.
So with these pros, what is the program that you run them at?
We're doing like most of us. We have a modified, let's say 80 plus, to our liking for our visual as well as our growth and color phases.
What happened there? It's sucking in air a
Little
bit
vortex,
there, huh?
a little vortex. We actually added Nero 7.
Ooh, this is a big one, huh?
Yeah, we took off the Reef Wave 45.
Yes.
We had some problems with it. We sent it back. We decided to try the Nero.
Yep.
It's actually really good. It works on the Mobius as well as the My AI app. Gives us a little bit of a different sort of color flow pattern. Yeah, and it's working really well. We're really happy with it at this point in time.
So tell me a little bit about the flow. Like, what is the principle here? You've got 2 pumps on both sides, so 1 on each. And what's your vision for how do you want the flow to go in the tank?
Well, I'm a little bit limited with product, so I can't just take whatever I want and apply it. So I would like to have a couple more circulators or a couple more Nero 3s on the back. Right now I don't, so I have this one full throttle.
Okay.
Pulsating every 3 seconds, 100%.
Ooh.
And then this one's also between 50 and 100% on a random setting.
Gotcha.
For about 12 hours of the day. Then it goes down to 50%. It runs at 50% all night.
Constant or still random?
Constant. Constant. So we're trying to kick up some debris and detritus throughout the evening. At the same time, so much SPS.
Yes.
We really struggle with the flow. I personally think we need a lot more flow, especially with the colonies growing in the way they have.
Well, you have tons of flow that you can add from there. What about that little pump in the back? What does that do?
That's helping move underneath the rainbow loom, so to give me some flow underneath my floating reef.
Yes.
We definitely need that. Again, I'd like a couple more back there. I'm kind of trying to do my best to keep our spending to a minimum, but at the same time, I do what I can to keep the animals as happy as possible.
You certainly were able to squeeze the most out of it. Like, this is super efficient.
It's super tight, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the layout and like having that negative space underneath, because that's pretty unique. And is it easy to clean?
Fish. Yeah. Look at the fish, they love it. You know, that negative space under there, some people might feel like we're not taking advantage of all the real estate. But I think flow,
you do, right? I mean,
flow is really critical.
So, yeah.
I actually get my hands in there with some gloves and dig through the gravel when I do my gravel vacuum to turn it every couple of weeks. It's difficult to get a little gravel vacuum under there.
Yes.
But with a little manual, a little thinking, yeah, we've been really good at keeping it from binding and becoming a solid underneath there.
But do you have like a snorkel or something? Like, how do you go underneath so you can actually reach
I
down
don't.
to?
I get in with my hand when the flow is off, and I crumple it and crumple it, and then I stick my vacuum underneath at the same time. trying to pull out that detritus, obviously without
Hilarious.
knocking off too many corals. It's a challenge. Because of the encroaching that's going on here, it's becoming more and more challenging to do your sort of traditional gravel vacuum.
That is, the proof is in the pudding. And for the lighting, sorry, I think I cut you off. The AB Plus, and you run it for how long?
We run about a 12 to 13
Yes.
hour schedule. Generally, a modified AB for about 5 hours, and then pretty much cool colors. We're using the UVs, the blues, the violets, the royal, pretty much for a good 6 or 7 hours at the end of the day.
So your peak is AB Plus, and then you just cooling
Yeah,
it
the
off a little
modified
bit.
AB
So.
Plus. We're
Yeah.
not even pushing 100%. We might have the intensity set up around 100%, but with the modified AB, it's not quite 100%.
Very, very cool. And tell me a little bit about your coral selection, because you can clearly see that the SPS is all the way in the middle, and then you've got this beautiful torch garden on the right, and a little bit of leather and
So sort of
mushrooms, or-
pre-existing from the original videos. We've added a Holy Grail. We added a banana.
That's the banana right there.
We have a
right? So,
God
yeah.
torch in the back.
Which one? Oh, yeah.
The God torch at the
Yes.
top there.
So, and it's evening, so it starts to close off a little
Everything,
bit, right? So,
everything, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same, all the SPS. We're still keeping a few of the Ghanies like we were before. We have our colonies here that were either growing out or some are stressed, so we put them at the lower parts of the tank to see if they can recover. Our little Euphilia hammer frog spawn garden is doing very well here.
Yes.
I think if anybody recalls, we did have a big leather in the back there. It took up too much space, so we actually pulled it out and we added a couple of new smaller leathers there.
Nice. Can you get me back to the torches? Can you name every single one of them? Do you know all the fancy names?
So yeah, probably your common Hellfire, 24 karat, banana, standard, Holy Grail, Indo Gold, God Torch.
Yes.
That's the reverse black in the back
Oh,
there.
Okay.
It's got the black belly with the green body.
Yes.
And of
yes.
course our most common Black Torch.
Oh.
So
that
all
is-
Glaberensis, they're all true Glaberensis.
yes.
Yeah,
You've,
we've actually, Ron has been able to get a hold of a couple of really nice specimens here.
You've passed the test. Gary. You've named every single one
Ron,
of them. I'm horrible at torches.
I have Ron to help remind me day in and day out, and we talk about it a lot with people.
Very nice.
So yeah, it helps. It really does.
Now, any interesting SPS corals in here that I should maybe pay attention to?
Well, some of the new pieces, for example, I believe that's a Bill Murray.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Acropora
Yep.
species. There's a few smaller frags that you can see there. Those were put in by Ron maybe 6 or 8 months ago.
Yes.
I can't give you specific names for them except for the Bill Murray.
Yeah.
But
about
those
this
are
guy?
all new. This
Who's
is our
this guy?
strawberry shortcake.
That's interesting. It's got like interesting coloration. You got not even pink. So certain parts are more green. Certain parts are more pink.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah.
nice.
I think this flow
Yeah.
here has caused this to tighten up. You can see
Okay.
how tight it
Yes.
is. I think traditionally strawberry's not quite as tight.
Yeah.
Above it, the angry bird, the tenuous. If we look from the side, it's being bombarded
to,
with
so-
too much flow.
Yes.
It's actually receding a little bit.
That's.
But
still not-
it will
not too bad.
adjust.
So, yeah.
It will adjust. At least that's the hope and the plan.
And a little bit about your coral husbandry. Any dosing, any trace elements?
Yeah.
right.
I think previously.
You're proud of this.
Yeah,
I know.
previously we had a Red Sea doser
Yeah.
here. We have really poor Wi-Fi. I used to lose connectivity daily, and
wow.
then my system wasn't dosing. I started to lose corals. It became super inconsistent. I had to change it to the Versa doser.
Love it.
I find the Versadosers a little quieter. I like it because it's right on the same Mobius app as my lights.
Yep.
So they're all sort of connected.
Oh,
Still
and
doing,
this is just the sump.
yeah,
Yes.
still doing the same,
Nice.
you know, as easy as possible. A couple of bits of floss, some carbon.
Yes. Very nice. And this is the NIAS 120, I'm thinking.
Yep.
And the auto top off. So
That's
very
right.
rudimentary. And
That's right.
it's not like in some stores when you go in, things are hooked up to a much bigger system, which, you know, it's nice, but it's also a bit of cheating because, you know, you have a lot bigger water volume and more stability. But here you have everything in one tank. So somebody at home can easily do something like that.
This is the plan. This is the plan. Not just to make a big tank and make it, you know, beautiful, but to make it functionable for people in their home. And everybody can use these things. Everybody can work with the same types of things. We're not using stuff that you can't get on the market, you can't get parts for, and you also can't get feedback from people like us if you're having trouble with the product.
How often do you dose polyplab?
So it's pretty random. I'm only at this location a couple of days a week. I think we'll have to get up to the Vaughan Rutherford store and do a video for the Reef tank there as well. So between myself and Ron, color elements get added 2 or 3 times a week. The absorption rate with our trace elements is huge here.
Yes.
I use about 250 milligrams a day of alkalinity just to keep my KH around 8 or 8.5.
So they must be happy.
So the absorption rate with that alone, I think I'm probably low in a lot of my trace elements, even with my double dosing or my triple dosing. I'm not really given the ICP option as well.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to send out an ICP.
Why is that?
Well, it's not that I'm not allowed. We try to keep our costs down.
Okay.
So that's another add-on to the extra costs right now if I did want to do it. And I think our eye test speaks for itself. I think we're all pretty happy at this point in time.
Everything looks exemplary. And what salt are you using and how often do you change it?
So right now we're using the salinity. The Aquavitro salinity I do every 2 weeks.
I heard some great things.
I do about 40 to 50 gallons every 2 weeks.
Okay. So percentage-wise, kind of going for 10, 15?
It's about 140 total.
Yeah.
So I'm doing about 20.
20%.
25.
Every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And what about fish? Anything changed?
I think last time you asked some people some ideas. So we have a berry and tang.
Ooh, I don't think you get to see that very often.
Couple of lyre tail Antheus. We got
a beautiful male.
Yeah, a couple of females. We got a nice clown tang.
Yes. This is something I actually picked up in the store 2 weeks ago. I got my first clown tank, so right now it's just going through quarantine, but I'm hoping to have it in my main tank very soon.
They're excellent fish. They love to munch.
But I hear from a lot of people that, oh, you don't want to add it because it's going to be mayhem and it's going to just kill every other fish. What are your thoughts about that?
Every fish has a different characteristic given its tank mates, its space. It's never true to what one person has to the next person, in my opinion. There's always going to be other variables and other factors that are going to sort of, you know, the hierarchy in the system is what it is. We can't change it. The fish are going to decide on that. So hopefully when you put him in, you don't have that problem that it becomes overly aggressive in the system.
But he's gorgeous. Honestly, him and Sohal are probably the most beautiful fish.
There's a mean tang.
So, yeah.
Sohals.
Yeah.
Unicorns. Those are mean.
Well,
I find these guys to be pretty timid for the most part.
Interesting. So, okay, well, I'll let you know in a month or two how he makes out in my big tank. But this is pretty cool, and I like the butterfly with pyramid.
Yep.
So yes, this guy is awesome. I also think that almost any tank 4 and 5 feet and bigger just benefits from a nice school of chromis. Or group of chromis as well as group of Antheus. It's a must, I think.
I also find they break up the group fighting.
Yes.
So they break up my tangs fighting. Having those target fish in there,
Yes.
I believe it helps them.
That is phenomenal. Well, I think this is a pretty good wrap up for.
It's a nice update. It's a nice update. It's been a little while since you've been here.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of growth. I think if somebody watches the first video and then they watch this video, they're going to see colonies compared to, I think we talked about it, mini colonies.
Yes.
Somebody didn't like your mini colony comment.
Well, I can tell you there's just nothing more satisfying than just walking past and seeing all the difference in growth, and also going back in videos and just kind of comparing where you were 6 months ago, because nothing good happens fast in this hobby.
That's right.
But it's totally worth it. Like,
I agree. I agree.
Phenomenal. Well, Gary, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to stick around here and just geek out on this tank for a while, and maybe we'll do something 6 months or a year from now.
Sounds good.
And see where you're going to take it.
Always appreciate you, Dimitri.
Cheers. And I would like to see your other tank, so maybe we'll shoot that next.
I just added the balding light set
Ooh.
to the Vaughn store on my Reef tank.
Yeah, that looks
Give
very
me a
neat.
month or two.
Perfect.
Get some stability in there, and we'll definitely get together.
Far out. Cheers.
Cheers.